Good day to everyone. My name is Dustin Powers. I'm with Vanguard Resources. We'll be providing your facilities management services here at Methodist McKinney Hospital. So what I want to do today is do a brief, less than 10-minute tutorial to show you how to use Sprocket, which will be our maintenance management software. So the first thing you have to do is log into your computer, then open up a web browser. It doesn't matter if you use Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome. Most major browsers are supported. So the first thing you're going to do is go to the website. It's MMH for Methodist McKinney Hospital.vanguardresources.com. Once you go to that site, your first time you'll have to create your user accounts. After you've already been a user, you can go ahead and log in, username and password. But I'm going to say I'm not a user, so I'm going to go ahead and click not already a user. So Greg's going to look out because I'm going to go ahead and create his account. So you're going to enter your name. And enter a username. I always do first initial, last name. Enter a password. There's no crazy password requirements on here. Then you'll have to enter your email address. I'm going to enter my email address for this one, and I'll change it later to Greg's, but for this demo I'm putting mine. Then you can put a phone number here. We would prefer that you do. It can be your office number, just so we have a way to contact you later. Enter a challenge question in case you forget your password. Go ahead and click register. And that'll be it for just a minute. It's going to go ahead and email you a link to click. So I'm going to return to the login page. I see I did just get my email. So if I open up my email, this is just to confirm the email address is right. I clicked it, it opened up, and it says I'm registered now. So I'm going to use Greg's account that I just created. So when you log in, the first thing you'll see is we have your weather put up here so that you can, in case you're curious and want to see what the weather is outside. But there's really only 3 links, so it's pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do when you create a work order is click on the new work order link. When you click on that, you'll just fill it out top to bottom. The top link there says request type. You'll click it, select work order, and then we have several options for request codes. Now if you click in it, it'll do an auto lookup and it'll kind of show you what's going on. Or anything in Sprocket that has a magnifying glass to the right hand side. If you click on that magnifying glass, you'll see all of your options. So these are what your options are. I'm going to say for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to do a hang and mount. Say you got a new picture you want it hung up in your office. So whenever it comes up, it's going to go ahead and auto fill out based on the person that's requested by. If I'm logged in and I want to support, or I want to put in a request for Greg or for Joe, whoever it may be, I can go ahead and put them as the requester if I need to. Again, it's got the magnifying glass, so you could click on it and you see a list of everybody that's in the system. So I could go ahead and put it in. I'm going to put it in as Dustin. So I select Dustin. If you have the email address and phone number put into Sprocket, it will go ahead and fill this in for you. If you don't and you want to fill this out, it'll be a good way for us to get back in contact with you if you have any questions about where you want the work done. The email address, if you put the email address, you will get email notifications every time something changes on the work order. So say for instance, it wasn't a hang and mount and you wanted your door replaced or your door painted. So you would put that in, you'd put the request in, and maybe when we get the request, we change the status of the work order from in progress to waiting for parts. If we're waiting for a new door, we're waiting on paint. If it's an expensive project, it may go into a waiting for approval status as we wait to get management's approval prior to making any large purchases. So there is some benefit to putting your email address. If you do not want to put your email address, you certainly don't have to. It'll prevent you from getting a flood of updates anytime we change anything. And there is another mechanism to follow the status of your work request, which I'll show you in just a second. So I'm not going to put my email address or maybe I'll put my phone number because I want them to be able to get a hold of me. If you have a location, if you know where the location is, you can go ahead and put it here. If not, don't worry about it. You can. Everything has an auto lookup, so maybe you know it's going to be in the emergency room. If you start typing emergency room, you'll see here it is. And the naming scheme on your site is McKinney, and then a dash, and then the floor number. So if you're on the first floor, 01. If you're on the second floor, 02. And then a dash and your department. ER, radiology, PACU, OR. You can put it in that way. Like I said, or you always have the option of clicking the magnifying glass. If you want to click these, the eyes next to it, it'll give you any details if there are any details. So see, I clicked the eye next to D Powers, and it gives me all the information on here. So who created the account, when the change date was, my first name, my last name, what my current license status is, etc., etc. So you can put it in that way. Again, it's not required. The required fields are in red, so the requested by is the only thing required right now. If you have a piece of equipment, and I'll send out a list of, or a picture, I guess, of what this looks like. But say it wasn't for a hang-a-mount. We'll go and say the ice machine is not working. So if you wanted to put in a work order for the ice machine, you could type ice, give it just a second, and it'll do an auto lookup. Oh, it has. So see, I see it. There's an ice machine here. So I could click on that, or say you know the numbers. Each of the pieces of equipment have a black sticker that says property of, and then it doesn't say who the property is of, but then it gives an ID number. So say this 0936. So if you're looking at the piece of equipment and you see the sticker number 0936, you can type that in and see it pulls it up. So you don't have to know that it's an ice machine. You don't have to know it's a refrigerator, a freezer, a meat slicer. If you see that sticker, you can simply enter the number and then click on it. And once you click on it, it'll go ahead and update the location of that piece of equipment. So we'll know exactly where this piece of equipment is if you type in the number or the equipment. Now this last block down here is really going to be the meat and potatoes for what we need from y'all. The more comments you give us, the better we're going to be able to help you. So we're going to go with the hang and mount. So I'm going to delete the stuff that's not required. And say I have a new family photo that I want hung in my office. If you have any hard time requirements, you can go ahead and put those in here so the technician can see and properly prioritize. And just click on Submit Work Order. Now at this point, your work order has been submitted. This can be a little bit confusing here. You have a couple options. You can click Close, Close and Clear, Close and New. You can go to My Requests, which we'll go to in a minute. If you go there, it'll show you all of your existing requests. Or you can see the details for the work order. If you click on Close and Clear, it's going to close this screen and it's going to open up a new work order screen just like it was when we first logged in. If you click on Close and New or Close, it will look exactly like what we just did. So I'm going to click on Close just for the demo. And you see it still has all the information in here. So if you're submitting multiple work orders that are similar, like say you want ceiling tiles replaced and you just want to put a new work order in for each ceiling tile, so you don't have to fill out the same information over and over again. You could just update the location. A lot of times people will get confused when they click on Close or Close and New and think that it did not submit the work order because you still see your information. That is not true. Your work order did go in, and you'll see that in just a second. So the way you check on the status of the work orders, if you didn't put your email address in so you're not getting email notifications, whenever you log into the site, it takes you to the Sprocket portal, which is this screen. It shows you the current weather. If you click on My Requests, now what you'll have here is a request, is a screen where it will list every request that you put in. I'm going to go ahead and modify this one a little bit because it's kind of big. There's too much information on the screen. But every work order that you've submitted will show up here along with the current status of the work order. So once we change it to complete, if you are not satisfied, then you'll be able to come back and tell the management team that, hey, you said the work order was done, but it's not done properly. So you'll be able to note that. Also, a benefit of if you do put your email address in, once the work order is closed, you'll be emailed with a customer satisfaction survey. So if the work was not done in a timely manner or you weren't happy with the work, you can make notes there in the survey, and it will notify the management immediately. As soon as you submit that customer satisfaction survey with any negative marks, it will email our director here on site. So I guess that pretty much concludes this video. Thank you for your time. Oh, sorry, one last alibi. Up here on the top right, you see the username and then My Account. If you click on My Account, you can come in here. This is where you'll change your password. You can add a phone number or delete a phone number if you need to change your time zone for any reason, or change your email address, update that kind of information. This is where you do it. Whenever you're done, you can click on Save or Save and Exit. It'll tell you success, and it'll take you back to the last screen you were at. At this point, you can go ahead and log out, and you are done with your Sprocket tutorial. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to watch this.